Hello all, and welcome to today's Tech Corner with Assemble Systems. My name is Nate Coombs, and I'm one of our engineers here at Assemble, and today we are excited to share with you how we can use our mobile solution to carefully help you track work and place in the field. This will allow you to very easily communicate information from the job site back to the office and vice versa, creating a higher level of transparency and efficiency in all of your construction processes. We know our clients strive to complete projects safely, on budget, and on time without sacrificing quality. So today we're going to focus on just a couple of the workflows that will help you do just that. So let's get started. For those who may not be aware, what you're looking at here is our user interface at Assemble. On the left is our model tree, where all the models in our projects are going to be housed. The center is the inventory, which is the data set of all the information that's predefined in this model. And on the right, we have our 3D viewer. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to start by coming up here and regrouping this information by project progress. So what I did to start today was I went through and I assigned some statuses to the objects in this model. I assigned construction statuses of in progress, in transit, installed, and on site. And I went a step further and also assigned some look aheads. So what we're going to see happen in the future and when we're going to see these statuses change. What I did to do this was use the Assemble properties, specifically construction status and look ahead, to assign this information and then reorganize based on that information. So now that I have everything organized how I'd like to see it in my inventory, I want to come over here and bring another visual aspect into the fold. By using color by property, I can now colorize the model based on these different statuses. And so you see now, not only do I have the information broken out in the data set, but also by color here in our 3D viewer. So now that I've gotten everything broken out how I like it and everything is exactly the way I need to see it in the field, I'm going to start by coming up here and just updating this view so that you have the most up-to-date information in the field. And now I can open up our mobile solution. So just opening up our mobile app. I'll sign into my iPad app. Just so everybody knows, you can find our mobile application on the App Store. And just by searching Assemble Systems, you'll very easily be able to pull up our mobile app. So just jumping into this application, what you see here is the list of all the available projects that are in this site. I'm attached to that same demonstration site you saw in our web interface, working in that Autodesk Hospital project. So if I just select that Autodesk Hospital project, it's going to pull up all the saved views that we have available for this project. So now I can come in here and find that construction status view that I just saved out. So opening up that view, once this is loaded, you'll very easily see all the information in the inventory on the left and the 3D viewer on the right. Now that the inventory is loaded, you see that we have those breakdowns of in progress, in transit, installed, and on site. And even more important than our web interface, this information is invaluable in the field. Knowing where everything is in reference to the construction process is very important, and one of the things that we're going to focus on today. So now that I'm in this application, I'm going to have most of all the functionalities that you have available within your web interface. This will allow navigation of the models, including orbiting, panning, and zooming, which acts just similar to any other application on your iPad or iPhone. I like to equate it to working in a map, where you can use your pinching to zoom, drag to orbit, and 2 fingers to pan. I also have this list of inventory, and I can expand this just like I do within our web interface, all the way down to those look aheads, or even all the way down to the specific instances and the categories. So I can organize this information however I like in our web and see it that same exact way displayed in our mobile application. So now, in terms of navigation, I can come through and inspect every object. I can select objects and stand at a selected point and use the gyroscope of the iPad to view around. I can even use the iPad's walk function to lean the iPad forward and actually take a walk around this model. And this is all being done just using the gyroscope of this iPad. So now that we have a view and inspection done of this model, we can jump back out to our home page and start to work with the actual statuses of these different objects. So what I want to start with is I have that floor selected. So I'm going to actually deselect that and kind of collapse all these different windows. And so that I can now jump into a different status. So if I just expand what's in progress, you notice there's something that's supposed to be completed on 423. So if I just jump into this object, I can actually access all of its properties, the same that ones that are available within our web interface. So just opening up those properties, you see the availability of all the exact same fields, including the ones that are populated with the relevant information that we're using to organize and colorize this model. So we have that construction status of in progress. So say we're on site and this actually has been in progress and completed. So I can come into the construction status and you see all the available statuses that I've already assigned to different objects in our system. So I can come in here and switch this over to installed, and I can save that information. And it's going to be pulled out and removed from view because it's in a different grouping now. So I can now jump back into the inventory. And once this updates, I can now go to installed and see that still says to be completed on 423. So we need to make sure that this has the correct look ahead as well. So I can now come in to the properties once again, go to the look aheads, and I can just say this is out for review. Or actually, you know what? We will assign this to say to be reviewed on, let's say 5-1. And I can say done, and I can save that. So the really cool thing about this is the connection with Assemble is live and interactive. So when you change information within this mobile application, it's going to update in real time back to the office. So now that we've gone through and updated everything that we need to update, we can come in here, and if we want to inspect anything else, we can. If we want to work offline, we can very easily make this information available offline so that you don't even need a Wi-Fi connection to access this information. By working offline, we allow you to cache and archive the information in the model and very easily access it without any internet connection at all. So definitely a very important function to be aware of. A few other things before we hop back into Assemble. You'll have access to all the same 3D viewer functions, including X-ray mode and ghost mode. You can change project units. You can also create measurements or find all helpful tips and tricks up here in the top right. So now that we're looking pretty familiar and we've done everything we need to do in our mobile interface, I can jump back into the web. So just jumping back into our web interface, you see if I just come in here and refresh this page, the information that I went through and assigned in our mobile application is going to be reflected here in real time back in our web application. So you see our in progress is less than it was before, and now everything is to be reviewed on 5-1. And you see the colorizations on these objects are now green. So that little skirt around that third floor is going to be green. I also want to point out that we can do this in the opposite direction. So now if I come in here and I say one of these blue floors, let's select this blue floor, let's say this is actually beginning in progress. So now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to switch the status over to in progress, and I'm going to say to be completed, and not on 3/8, but we'll just change the date here to something, let's say 5/3. And we can now save that information out. So not only are you going to see the colorizations update here, but now if we go back into the web, or the mobile rather, and we hop back into that view, you'll see that in real time, not only are we going to be able to push information from the field to the office, but actually from the office back to the field as well. And so now you see the colorization has been updated here for the on-site objects and for the in-progress objects. So the communication now between the office and the field has never been more transparent and never been more efficient. Very easily updating things in real time as need be back to the office. Thanks again for joining us today. As you saw in today's presentation, the Assemble mobile app for iPads and iPhones is a powerful addition to the Assemble product family that allows customers to extend the advantage of models and model properties to their field teams. If you have any questions at all about our mobile system or any of the Assemble products, feel free to email support@assemblesystems.com. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. and I hope to see you on another Assemble Systems Tech Corner.